Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FTRL. We are back on GT Sport, we are back with GT2, and we are back with the Porsche Super Cup, bringing you the action on this Thursday evening. So the season moves into the second half, 12 rounds down, 12 rounds to go. And tonight we are at the Red Bull Ring Short, rounds 13, 14 and 15. Tonight featuring a wet race, so race 2 tonight will be in the wet. For now, glorious sunshine greets the Porsches as they come out onto track. And what will this week bring us? So last week was yet again a double for SBY as he extended his championship lead, but Donzo keeping him honest. That championship lead not growing too much, so he's still very much in touch. And we had a debut victory for our American debutant, Pretty Joe Daddy, winning at a circuit he lives close to in real life, in fact. So hometown knowledge came in handy for him, and he won the reverse grid race quite emphatically as well. So hopefully he will be continuing that strong run of form. This circuit course very familiar to a lot of us, probably on the F1 calendar, MotoGP calendar, one of the easier layouts. Go on board with Zom, who is the first one out on a lap then. So into turn 2, this is where the track deviates. You cut through, right hander, and then come out by turn 6, 7. And the full track through the S's. And now it's just a quick short blast up towards the line. Over the crest of the hill, pick your braking point. Keep the speed up here, tip in, apex nicely, over to the left of the curbs. Get a good wide entry for the final corner. Plenty of curve on the inside, don't run too wide on the outside, and then just a short blast up to the line. Tom's first lap time is a 49.1. He sets the initial benchmark, however he is observed by Donzo, who goes fastest. We've also got another debutant tonight, Tim Wentink has joined FTRL GT2. Another Dutchman joining the contingent within FTRL, but the first one in GT2. Teaming up with FTRL Oven, unfortunately isn't here this week. Hopefully those two will be teaming up from next week. Let's see how he gets on then. Quick in F1, how does he fare in the Porsche Super Cup? We shall see. Got some very quick guys in here. He's chasing around the current pole sitter. Not a bad place to be, getting it probably equivalent for a slipstream as well. Donzo improved his lap time. He does not, but Tim Wentink with that slipstream has gone fastest, so now on provisional pole. Donzo second, Zom up in third still. Next is Katz currently fourth, Junkie Sport in fifth, Daddy's sixth, Panda currently seventh. He does not, and Nobby Norris in P8. Spike P9, SBY they're coming round, he's currently P11, but he goes third. Close to the match with his teammate. Steph has gone up to P4. Of course, Steph, this is where he took his first win in FTRL GT Sport in a soaking wet race in the Mitsubishi a couple of seasons ago, so he'll be looking to recapture that form. That circuit he clearly goes well at, not the full length one anyway, so let's see how he gets on at the short version. Zom goes back up to P4 then, so Zom showing some good pace here. Top 4 covered by less than half a second. SBY getting too close to the back of Spike there. He's pulled out of this lap. Yeah, absolutely posh there, commenting Tim Wentink. They're doing an excellent job there. He's literally just following around Donzo, which is not a bad place to be. He's up again. I feel like he's perhaps a little bit too close. At the moment, British Daddy has popped himself up to P4, and Feber has just gone 5th. Top 5, top 6 now within half a second. So again, the grid super close in qualifying so far. What does our championship leader have? He's running on his over at the moment. Does he have anything? Donzo now goes fastest. So despite having Tim Wentink following him around, Donzo has caught and overhauled that lap time. So he retakes pole position. What can SBY do? Puts your daddy up, improves. Lap time stays 4th as Panda goes 3rd. So after a Panda now in the mix. What has SBY got? Current championship leader. Out of the final corner. He goes. He improves but stays 4th. Again, you can see it was quite a big gain there as well, over 1/10 of a second, but it means he only closes in on the back of Panda, so Donzo looking very good at the moment. Comes out of the final corner. Is this lap time going to improve? 48.2 is the current fastest lap. He lowers the bar slightly again, 11 thousandths to Wentz behind him. Does not improve this time. Panda's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, but he might benefit from that slipstream slightly sideways. Nobby Norris at the final corner. That will not give him a slipstream up the start-finish straight, so can Panda improve? With the toe, he can, he goes second. SBY now out the penultimate corner. What has he got? Response into an epic battle here as Fever goes second. SBY improves again, but still stays in P5. So he's finding gains, but everybody ahead of him is also finding just little bits to pull away from him. So he stays in 5th again. Steph in 6th, then you've got Brendan Daddy in 7th. Zom, who's just over half a second off pole, is 8th. Junkie Sport 9th, Cats in 10th, Spike and Nobby Norris. So the whole field covered by less than a second at the moment. That is how tight this is. Junkie Sport improves, he's now gone 6th. Brendan Daddy improves his lap time as well. Nobby Norris, he now goes 6th, so time top 3 covered by 32 thousandths of a second. Quite how Fever's got into that gap between Donzo and Panda, I don't know. Less than a 10th covers your top 4. Less than a 10th covers the top 5, in fact. Who now, and SBY now goes fastest. So he's found the time finally. Hooked the lap up, and now he takes pole position. So what a duel this is for pole position. The racing hasn't even started yet. That has just spread the top out. Oh, Automatic's ever cooked the final corner. Drifts the back end. So just over a minute to go. Current running order is this: SBY on pole position ahead of his teammate Donzo. And you've got Fever in 3rd with Panda 4th. Tim Wentink is 5th with Steph in P6. Just ahead of Junkie Sport. Then you've got Nobby Norris in P8. Brendan Daddy in 9th, who is going very deep into turn 1. Zom is 10th. Nexus Cats is 11th, and Spike is 12th. 1 second covers the field. Minute then, and with probably enough time for one more lap for everybody. Everybody got the SBY sideways out of turn 1. That's not going to do him much good. So Donzo will come to the line. Does he improve? He does not. He's got another lap to find yet. To find some time. Junkie Sport improves again. 48.2. P6. Now at the final corner, currently 4th. Improve this time. Fever now coming out of the final corner. Bit of drift there as he gets the back end of that Porsche up. So these are the final laps. And Fever does not improve. So Donzo there just drifting around the penultimate corner. It's a little bit wide now over the curbs. Very wide into the final corner. He's overcooked it, so that'll be Donzo's lap ruined. Tim Wentink got out the final corner. He's picked up a penalty, so that will ruin his lap. Panda into the final corner, currently P4. Zom improves up to 8th. This is his teammate. Panda does not improve on that lap. Junkie Sport now coming around, currently P6. Little pedestrian though, I think he is pulled out. He's almost finished. Got Nobby Norris currently P9. Half a second off pole. He is in 9th position. He's very wide though through the final corner. That will probably be a penalty. He's indeed. Brendan Daddy has finished. Next Cats has finished, and Spike has finished. So there we have it then. 1.1 seconds cover the field, but as expected, or as many would have expected, SBY takes pole position for the first of this evening's races. 3 races, of course, as ever. First race decided by the grid. It lines up as follows. So SBY is on pole position ahead of Donzo. Got Fever, and Steph made that late jump up to P4. He's ahead of Panda, Tim Wentink on 3rd row, Junkie Sport and Zom. Nobby Norris, Brendan Daddy next to Cats, and Spike round off the grid. Lights go on, the revs go up. Oh, Tim Wentink jump to start. So He's new to the game, he may not have realised that was going to be a thing. Unfortunately, he jumped the start, and away we go then. And Donzo's got a good run up into turn 1. He's going to go side by side with his teammate. Drops into P2. Fever and Steph tuck in behind, so teammates 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and also 6 and 7. Junkie Sport and Bredger Daddy. And then the two Pink Pigs as well, although they've just been split. As Cats gets the jump. Oh, and Spike's lost it at the second corner. But we are away and running. It's flying formation for the Thursday Night Sweats. SBY leads. Donzo tucks in right behind him. They've Fever right with them as well. Of course, he had an excellent podium here in the wet, I believe, last season. Mercedes, he was last season because he really ran SBY close for a lot of the early part of the race. SBY pulled away in that 4GT. Junkie Sport going a little deep into 1. Oh, Brendan, your daddy has a huge tank slapper in the background. That's going to put Nexus Cats onto him. His whole position, and the two Pink Pigs go side by side. In the background, now he's down the inside of Zom. He's trying to hang around the outside. The recovering Tim Wenting out on the back of the train. Gets one of the positions back. So he now goes side by side. Robbie Norris, he's got the run and the slipstream. Norris still on the inside. Leaves him room, and he splits the two Pink Pigs. SBY leads, now that gap is up to 7 tenths of a second, and Donzo's got his hands full of Team 13. He's got Fever on his outside as they approach turn 1. Over the curve, is that going to give Fever a run? Steph right under his teammate rear wing, and Panda now involved as well. We've got a 4-car scrap for second place, and all this is doing is letting SBY get away. And that is the last thing you want to do, because we've seen what happens when he gets away with clear track. He will just go and run away into the distance. And these boys will be picking up the minor places. Good 4-car scrap. P2, Donzo at the head of it. Fever looking for a way through. Steph looking for a way through. Panda looking for a way through as well. All got eyes on the podium. 1.3 seconds now. The gap to the leader. Fever again very close to the back of Donzo. I don't think he's close enough though for a move. He will just tuck in Junkie Sport in P6, trying to bridge that gap. Get back on terms. And then we've got another good train going on here. Led by Nexus Cats, who's up to P7, so he's had a good start. Up ahead of British Daddy, you've got Zom in 9th, Tim Wenting in 10th, looking for a way through. Albie Norris just tucked in behind. And then the recovering Spike, who had such a good run last week. He was so unlucky with an incident in that final race when we run second for so long. It's been great to see him scrapping. Unfortunately, the incident dropped him out, but he was running so well in that race, and it'd be good to see him have a good race again this evening. And Donzo wide out the final corner, and that gives Fever the run up the inside. Picks himself up a half-second penalty as well, but Fever's got the move done, and behind him Panda's up the inside of Steph. We're going to go side by side through 1. Steph trying to hang on around the outside. He's got the drive off the corner, and he keeps the position, so great defence from Steph. Hangs on to P4 as his teammate goes up into P2. Now what can he do about the race leader? Saw him have some excellent pace last week. It just took him a little while to get through, as he was battling constantly with Donzo, which let SBY get away, but what can Fever do? Some clear track. He's now put a bit of a gap into Donzo already. So he can now focus on trying to catch the race leader, and he is doing so. He's already taken 2 tenths out of him on this lap. Donzo, meanwhile, has now got the second of the white torches with the red stripe. Right on his tail, Steph is homing in quickly. He's thinking about a move into turn 1. He's got the inside, and Steph gets the move done. So he's going to blows at Maggiore, but that was a nice clean move from Steph. Donzo thinks about coming back at him, and that's a let Panda onto the attack around the outside. Steph just drifted a little bit wide through the apex. They thought about getting back up the inside, not quite close enough though. Now Steph up to third. Great move from Steph, great drive from Steph, and these three are being joined by Junkie Sport. So again, we're going to have a 4-car train in the battle for the podium. Fever gets away, trying to now close down on SBY. He's put 2.5 seconds into Donzo, so that battle. Donzo's actually got back ahead of Steph there, so Steph run wide. He's He's also picked up a penalty. Oh, Johnny Sport got the curb there on turn in, that just slowed him up a little bit. Katz continues to hang on to P7, Tim Wentic's now through on Zom. And he's up to P8, although Zom coming back at him. Tim Wentic shuts the door very firmly in his face. And it's up to P8 now. P9, then you've got Bredish Daddy 10 and Nobby Norris with him. And the unfortunate Spike, who is trying to get back on terms. He's got a big gap back at the minute, so best use this race now just to get himself bedded in for race 2. Of course, we've got the wet weather to contend with in the second race. But these two who battled in GT2 last season in the wet victory here now do so in the dry. SPY leads by 1.9 seconds, so he's continuing to pull a couple of tenths on Feber, but though keeping him honest. Battle for third raging on. Donzo still at the head of it. Steph tucked in behind him, and Panda with them as well. You've got Junkie Sport, who's just 1.1 seconds back. A little bit of a moment, stalled his momentum. If the guys ahead of him start battling again, he will soon be back on them. Cat's still P7, with Tim Wentic closing in. So good recovery from him so far. Cat's had a moment through the penultimate corner, and Tim Wentic goes round the outside into the final corner. Great move there from him. Cat's there got a little unsettled. Through the penultimate corner. Just give Tim Wentic the run around the outside. Up into 7th place. And that's now put Zom right on the back of Katz. Automatic's drifting through turn 1. Does it lock in Porsches? Don't tend to go that well. Panda and Steph now battling. Panda's opened the door through the long right-hander. Turn 2. And he's up to P4. Good move from Panda there. Steph just carrying a little bit too much speed into turn 2. Just drifted wide, and let Panda through, and that has brought Junkie Sport into the equation as well now. So Junkie Sport on to the tail of Steph. It's going on a little bit ahead of them though. Fever has closed that gap again slightly, ever so slightly. It's back down to 1.7 seconds. SPY continues to lead. Fever second. Donzo now has made a bit of a break in this squabble for the podium. And leaving it to Panda, Steph and Junkie Sport to do the battling. And Steph find her way back past Panda. Personal best through the first sector. To the final corner to complete lap 10 of 25. On a long race this one, it was quite a short track. Standers there picked up a penalty, so a couple of penalties for Bonzo, Panda and for Steph. Get rid of those before the end of the race. Panda drifts out of turn 1, and that might give Steph a run at him. It's gone to the inside though, so Steph will have to go around the long way. Door stays very firmly shut. Junkie Sport now right on the back of these two, keeping a watching brief. And behind them, Tim Wentic trying to bridge that gap. He's got clear of Katz. He's now 1.5 seconds behind the top 6. And then Katz continue to lead this train. Zom tucked in quite close behind him. Bredish Daddy's also back on the attack. Oh, he's gone a little hot there into the penultimate corner, but keeps it all in check. Nobby Norris just on the tail of these as well. Still a good run. Race lead down to 1.6, so another tenth has come off. Feber's just chipping away. Still a long way to go. We're not quite half race distance yet. In fact, we're probably around about half distance now, halfway around lap 12. The gap is just coming down ever so slightly. So Feber just chipping away. He's got a long time to go yet. Still got 12 more laps after this one. Took 13 more laps back, boys. Battle for the lead is not done and dusted. Bonzo 4 seconds in arrears, so he's not troubling the top 2. Got 1.3 seconds back to this small train. Doing battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. Panda's still at the head of it. Steph not found a way through yet, but right on the tail of his rival. He's had a good run through turn 1. little bit wide, down the inside nice and early. That gives him the room. Cuts across the nose and hangs on to P4 for now. He's a little bit wide there through the S's. That's going to compromise his run up the hill here. Steph's going to have a good slingshot. He's going to be close enough for a move into the penultimate corner. Can force a mistake from the Neyama Porsche. In fact, what he has done there is run wide, and Junkie Sport takes that opportunity with a plumb, and down the inside he goes and up into P5. Great move there. Steph just a little bit hot into the penultimate corner. Junkie Sport carried the speed, carried the line. Through he goes, and now Steph is going to watch his mirrors because Tim Wenting is on the back and he has a huge tank slapper out of turn 1 and just gives him the position. He catches it well though. But big moment from Steph, and that's dropped him out of the battle. Gets himself back up again, sets off in pursuit. Can he get his head down and get back on terms if those guys ahead of him continue to battle? Should be able to close back in. Shows some good pace early on. Now just needs to get his head down and start chasing these guys back down again. So that has left Pando P4, Junkie Sport now P5. And Tim Wenting back up to P6 where he started. Further back, we've got a great scrap going on now for 8th, 9th and 10th. Zom up the inside of Katz. He's going to try and do the switch back here, and Brendan Daddy's going to go around the outside. Tom shuts the door in his face. Katz hangs on to P9, so these three doing battle as well. He's not quite able to hang with them at the moment. As Katz trying to find a way back up the inside of Zom. Side by side for the S is now Brendan Daddy on the attack again as well. Those two now side by side into the penultimate corner. And Brendan Daddy go around the outside. He can. Katz is still there on the inside though. The touch. He gets the move done. Great move from Brendan Daddy. Up into P9. The tail of Zom, so these three continuing to scrap. Katz has had a moment, has he? Is he getting rid of his penalty? He's decided to slow down and get rid of his penalty, and that's left Brendan Daddy and Zom to their squabble. Shame for Katz, who's had a good pace, good start. So let's just drop back a little bit now. Brendan Daddy on the attack into the penultimate corner. Zom having to go a little bit defensive. Now run wide out the penultimate corner. Brendan Daddy thinks about a move up the inside. Zom gives him the racing route. They'll come out of the final corner side by side. Zom picks up the penalty. Brendan Daddy gets the move done. But Zom straight into the slipstream. Looks for a move or into turn 1. He's down the inside. Brendan Daddy then cuts the nose off and gets the move done. So that's P8 for him. You can see how much though that has already brought Nexus Katz back into this squabble. Nobby Norris is coming with him as well. So these four about to come together again, unless Brendan Daddy can now get the hammer down and start to pull away. Steph in a lonely P7, but the battle now very much on. Let's have a look at the lead battle. It's back up to 2 seconds again. It's not the best turn 1 from SBY. That battle just ebbing and flowing. The battle is back on for P3. Junkie Sport now up to P4. So Junkie Sport having his standout drive so far this season. Since the opening week anyway. Donzo now third. That gap has come down. It's less than a second. Junkie Sport now leading the charge after him. Indeed. So even in JP, I see it. On Bread getting that move done. This is the battle to watch at the moment then. Donzo leads, but that gap is now back within the slipstream range. Junkie Sport, so Junkie Sport has hauled himself back into contention for a podium here. He has just picked up a penalty there, running a little bit wide at turn 1. Panda in behind him still, and Tim Wenting on the back. probing and looking for a way through. Donzo trying his best to run away. He's opened that gap up slightly again through that S section, but Junkie Sport's had a better run out of it, and he starts to close that gap once again. Look back to see how this battle goes on. Nexus Cats is back ahead of Zom. Daddy just inching away from these guys. Nexus Cats versus Zom again. Go back and have a look at this battle for P3. The gap for lead 2.2. So again, SBY just pumping a couple of tenths into FIBA. At arm's length. Panda down the inside of Junkie Sport for P4. And he retakes the position. So good move there from Will. The run through one. Now he's back into fourth, and now he leads the charge after Donzo, and that has compromised Junkie Sport's run, and Tim Wentink is now looking for a way through. Not close enough this time. While taking a nice line through the penultimate corner, so no chance of a move. We'll have to wait his opportunity now. On to lap 21 we're about to go. Just 4 to go. There, that carrot of the podium dangling very much in front of these three. Panda now the closest to it. FIBA has had a moment somewhere, because that gap is now 4.6 seconds. FIBA, he had a 50-second lap last time, so he's had a moment somewhere. That has dropped him, so I think that now is a race done for SBY, barring any dramas. So hanging on to third. Panda trying to get on terms. Junkie Sport now goes very much with his hands full of Tim Wentink. So these two just pairing up a little bit. Panda closing that gap on Donzo ever so slightly again. Very lively through the first corner, but he has got a good run. He's back within slipstream range of Donzo now, so what can he do about the second of the Thursday night sweats? Sport also now getting worked over quite hard. Tim Wentink looking to fashion an opening. Junkie Sport's having to go defensive. To the outside. Can he go around the long way? Or will he cut back through the penultimate corner? A little bit of a drift there, but good speed maintained. And these two continue to battle. Junkie Sport holds the position for now. Panda now right on the tail of Donzo. So this battle is on. Flash of the lights. Can he pull off? Man hanging on to third. Get a good run. Behind him as well. Junkie Sport defending excellently. Cats and Zom still going at it as well over 9th and 10th. So a couple of good battles going on. Just 3 laps to go. This is the important one though. The final step of the podium is up for grabs. Donzo having to go very defensive now. Panda looking around the outside. He'll try and cut back, get a good run down the hill, and open the door. He's had a good run off the final corner. Donzo's going to have to go very defensive here. Panda down the outside. They are side by side as they approach turn 1. Donzo maintains the position for now. Has got that penalty he needs to get rid of. 0.3 per second in the next lap and a half. We are on the penultimate lap. Sport just hanging on to P5 as well. It's a good showing from him so far. Captain's on battling hard as well. Over 9th and 10th. Every point counts. In this championship, this man, however, looking supreme again. Starts his final lap. Ebert now 4.3 behind. Panda now running out of opportunities for starting the final lap. He's got a good run off the final corner again. Goes to the outside, meanwhile behind him. There's a move on for P5, so Wentink down the inside. Junkie Sport late on the brakes though, and sweeps around the outside and keeps the position. That's a great defensive drive there from him. And up ahead of them, Panda now on the attack around the outside as well. Tries to cut back. Oh, he's gone through him, so Donzo trying to get rid of his penalty. Ghosts and Panda takes opportunity and steals that podium position away. little hesitation from Donzo through turn 2. Panda saw the opportunity and snatched it. SBY is your winner of round 13, however. FIBA comes home in second. Battle for the podium is going to go the way of Panda. He comes home second. Donzo fourth. Junkie Sport holds off Tim Wenting for fifth. Sixth on debut. Steph comes home seventh. I think I'll be disappointed with that, having run third early on. British Daddy recovers to P8. Nectar's Cats is going to win in the battle between Zom and himself, although he needs to get rid of his penalty. Or Zom is going to jump him, and Zom has jumped him. I don't think he realised that will round that penalty up to a second. So Nexus Cats gets jumped by Zom, and Nobby Norris coming round. He will be 11th with Spike having finished already. That is round 13 in the books, and SBY wins once again. His quest for the GT2 title continues. So then that is round 13 in the books, and now we await the wet conditions. Round 14 will be a wet race. Now the tricky thing about GT lobbies with wet weather is that a lot of the lobbies can be very mixed in terms of how wet they are, to the point where a lot of them are intermediates conditions, even to the point where you can use the super soft tyres. However, in the race lobby, everyone we've done so far, the weather has been abysmally wet and is nothing short of wet weather tyres, so practicing for this one can be difficult. But hopefully the drivers will have put a bit of time in. We await our wet race. So I'll just be changing over the lobby settings. Now we'll see just how treacherous this track can be in the wet. As ever, tomorrow we are back again with GT Sport, this time with GT1, again from the Red Bull Ring, this time of course with the British Touring Car Championship. That now moves into the second half of the season, and it is Pagani who sits at the top of the table at the moment. Still half a season to go, anything can happen. Here we go, change over to the wet weather. I'll take this opportunity to quickly have a look at the current standings then, with 12 races down. GT2, as I already mentioned already, the SBY is leading the way. He currently sits, loads up Bobby, there we go, on 155 points. Coming into this week, his teammate Donzo sits second on 148, so 7 points in arrears. 2 Thursday night sweats. So the class of the field. FTRL Panda came in this week third in the points on 128, 2 ahead of FIBA. Those two now will be by just a point. Then you got Junkie Sport, who was fifth. He's in on 105 points. With Steph in sixth on 95 points. Then Zom is seventh in the points on 88. The Oven 8th overall on 83, although he's not here this week. Of course, he was a double winner in the first week. Peatman, who's unfortunately missing this week as well, is 9th in the standings on 70, just ahead of Nobby Norris, who is on 60. Nexus Cats is 11th on 57, with teammate Spike in 12th on 48. British Daddy on 28 after his first week. And of course now we've got Tim Wenting, who is finding out the conditions here are a little bit treacherous. Be very much tippy-toeing around. The boy's going to get on then. Wet weather running now, just to find the feel. On a very, very damp track. Donzo there going off at turn 2. That is how easy it is. It is really going to be difficult to keep the cars on track here. Expect to see some of the guys running a little bit of traction control in this one. So yeah, Donzo's got his on. SBY appears to have his off. SBY, oh. It's spectacular. Of course, we saw him last season dominate the wet week. Especially the one here. Quite convincingly from Thieber. And of course we had that race at Spa, which unsafe release probably should have won. He was on course and then unfortunately the game lagged out for him. SBY, despite a couple of spins, came through to take the victory. Let me just switch those again. And now we are back. So just now waiting for the race to start. Round 14 will be underway shortly. Sorry, I'll say. Into the history box, never to be spoken of again. So of course now we're into the second half of the championship. So I'll look at the calendar to see what is left. Shoot with the lobby. Isn't it, let's say, of course now we're into the second half of the season. We've got Autopolis Short next week, followed by Tsukuba, so a double trip to Japan, and then we finish at the legendary British circuit of Brands Hatch. The GP circuit will hold the final round of this season's championship, where we will crown Porsche Super Cup champion and our BTC champion for GT1 as well. Both calendars the same. 12, so everybody's in their cars, so we're just waiting to get going again. But I'm just trying to find out a little bit of what they can do regarding these conditions. Sport had a very good ride, good drive in that last one. MP5. See there, this track has got there's a couple of areas on this track where there are some big puddles coming out of those S's, which really cause some issues for certain cars. So when I was in that GTR, it absolutely detested these conditions at this track. Porsche is one of the better handling cars on this game, so say one of the better handling cars. I think it's just done a donut into turn 1, whether or not that was intentional or not, I do not know. It's parked, so perhaps it was intentional, while they wait for the race to start. We shall see who is best in the wet conditions. Spike and Nobby Norris, they're currently 6th and 7th. They both had great runs last time out, so neither of them really got the rewards that their performance merited last week. It was so unfortunate to see. But it's good to see those boys making strides. How do they feel about wet weather conditions? We shall see. This really does sort those with touch and feel. Because it is very easy to lose the car. In these conditions, you can see how much the car is sliding around through the S's there. Nobby Norris absolutely cruising. He's almost got the traction control on. You can still see the car snaking around as he tries to get the power down. Puddles in that part there really do unsettle the car. It was absolutely awful in the GTR for me. Through the final corner. Go on board another, have a look see what sort of visibility we've got in car. He's improved his lap time there by 4 seconds or so. He's going to do a standing, so he's going to track to the start. start here. The start finish rate starts on the flat bit, then obviously you've got this big run up the hill. Prepare to get going. Who do we fancy for the wet weather victory? It's difficult to look past SBY based on how we got on last season, but FIBA's not going to want to count out too, and of course they are sharing the front row, and the rain is a very big leveller. You need a Jeff in conditions like this. Yeah, I think we could definitely do with a Jeff in conditions like this, although we'd just be telling you no more or rain expected for the next 15 minutes. So the grid then for round 14, SBY on pole alongside FIBA, Panda and Donzo on the second row, have Junkie Sport and Tim Wentink, Steph and Predator Daddy on row 4, Zom and Katz on row 5, Nobby, Norris and Spike on row 6. 25 laps ahead of us. Who is going to tame the wet weather conditions? We've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5 red lights, the revs go up. And away we go. Not a good start from Donzo. FIBA's got a great launch though, and he's into the lead. As they come through the spray, it's going to be tricky at the back. Junkie Sport has had a good start as well, he's up to 3rd, going wide, that looked like Steph. Yep, Steph's gone very deep into turn 1. Back on in P5, so he's had a good start, he's up a couple of positions. But FIBA it is who gets the whole shot. Great start from him, he leads. He's the only one with clear vision. SBY tucks in behind him, Junkie Sport up to 3rd, good start from him. Tim Wentink round the outside, Donzo into 4th. He's had a good start as well, up a couple of positions. Donzo down 1, bit of contact there as they try and sort themselves out. Nexus Cats is up to P6, the Spike goes through the gravel in the background, Panda down to 7th from 3rd. He's had an awful start. Spike side by side with Predator Daddy. Steph after that off at turn 1 down to P10. Nobby Norris in 11th and Zom all the way down to 12th, so he's had a poor start. Meanwhile, FIBA's drifted wide somewhere and SBY is into the lead. Junkie Sport second to Wentink's now side by side with FIBA, who was leading the race. So FIBA's drifted wide somewhere, and Nexus Cat's coming in very hot down the inside. Contact. Puts FIBA wide. FIBA gone. Dropped him all the way back to 8th. So FIBA is plummeting down the order there. Contact with Nexus Cats, who's up to 4th. He's having a storming start in these conditions. I don't think FIBA will be particularly happy with that move. Steph back up to 8th then, so he's got a couple of positions back already. Looks like Predator Daddy and Nobby Norris have had an off somewhere. They've dropped down the order, but he's been released again. SBY is your race leader. Junkie Sport second, and already renewing this battle with Tim Wentink. However, this time it's for 2nd and 3rd rather than 5th and 6th. We saw a debut win for Predator Daddy last week, but we're going to see a debut podium for Tim Wentink this week. He's in a very strong position because they're already 3 seconds ahead of 4th place, which is Donzo. Got ahead of Nexus Cats, who is going backwards into turn 1. He's got on the curb and he has dropped it spectacularly right to the back of the runoff area. Nexus Cats, all that hard work has been undone. All the way down to 12th position. So Nexus Cats goes from hero, unfortunately, to 0. Now he's got to do it all over again. So race lead already 2.5 seconds. The man, he's got traction control on in the race. It's probably wise. Junkie Sport is second though. He is running without traction control. It's a very brave move. Going well for him so far. He is in P2. Tim Wentink has got a good run off the final corner. Really close enough for a move into 1. Pulls out the slipstream. He's down the inside, but thinks better of it. Tucks back in. For the time being, Donzo in 4th, where he finished race 1. Panda behind him. And you've got FIBA recovering and Steph in 7th. He's all battling in the first race. Battling again this time not for a podium position. Really giving Junkie Sport the work over at the back of him, looking for a way through. Can't be any closer. All the while, losing touch to SBY. He's now 3.3 seconds ahead. Oh, Junkie Sport's gone way too hot into the penultimate corner. That'll open the door. Twinwenting's down the inside. Sport comes back on in third. That is a move done for Twinwenting, and he's up to P2. The back Panda has now lost a couple of places to the team 13 boys. Bieber and Steph are through, and up to 5th and 6th. What can Bieber do? He was leading the race. That's a great launch. Then somewhere while we were looking at other cars, Bieber sideways out turn 1. Going to be positioned to his teammate, and is Panda going to capitalise as well? On the outside, into turn 2. Down the corner side by side, but Bieber's got the inside line, and he should retain P6. He does. Again, a little bit of a drift there. See there, Bieber's car twitching as he tries to get on the accelerator. Panda's had a great run there off the corner. He's going to go right around the outside. Fantastic move from Panda, and he's back up to P6. Now up to P5. Wide at turn 1. A good start. Also wide. Down to 10th. Then now back up to 5th. And setting about trying to chase down Junkie Sport, who is 3rd. That's Twinwenting, who is 2nd. SBY now 4.8 seconds ahead after just 5 laps. And the books are on lap 6. He's already 5 seconds clear. It's looking very, very difficult to beat at the moment. Then the top next 4 guys, they're quite spread out, quite evenly spread out, but Steph trying to close that gap. Then Panda and Bieber have their squabbles drop back a little bit. That is up to 8th. What has happened to Zom? Zom's had an off somewhere. Yeah, 1 minute 8 in that last lap. He's definitely had a big off somewhere. Dropped him down a couple of positions, back down to P10. Nobby Norris. Nexus Cats still recovering after that spin into the first corner gravel trap. Shame how he had such a great start, running up in P4. Twinwenting then holding on to 2nd. He's fairly strung out at the moment. Sport there, just a little bit of a drift. Oh, he's going to go on the grass. A little bit too keen on the power there. And these conditions, car will bite you back. Just let Bonzo close in a little bit. Steph just closing on him a little bit as well. Panda and Bieber still very much together as well. Duke it out for 6th and 7th. And Brady the Daddy. A poor start. Recovered back up to P8. Finished the first race. Spike running well in 9th. Some positions since the start. Then Zom, who's had that off somewhere a lap ago. Setting about to try and chase down that bright green Porsche 911. Nobby Norris in 11th, and Nexus Cats is now starting to close back in. Had a poor lap this time. He's lost a couple of seconds somewhere. Had a little bit of a moment in these conditions. And Nexus Cats close back in on him. But this man looking absolutely supreme. He's on lap 8 and he nearly has an 8-second lead. Look at those lap times: 59, 59, 59, 58, 58, 58. He is the only man regularly under a minute. Twinwenting doing some solid lap times there, some 59s, some minute flats. Does a personal best there, 59.3. SBY did a 58.9, so putting half a second into everybody. SBY is looking very good in these conditions. Sport though, hang on to P3 nicely, but Donzo is continuing to just chip away. Out now under a second. podium after missing out in the first race. Steph also there just hanging on. 1.9 back in 5th. After being shoved wide at turn 1 on lap 1. Could be happy to pick up some solid points if he can hang on to it. We'll see if he can close on the two ahead of him. So Jonzo closing on the back of Junkie Sport. If these two start to battle, he could get back in touch. Got a yellow flag. Who's gone round? Oh, it's Tim Wentig's gone at the final corner. So our P2 sitter has spun and he's all the way down to P5. Back up speed again now, so he should stay ahead of Panda and of Fever. A mistake then on the end of lap 9, and he drops out of second position. Conditions catching him out. That's promoted. I was going to say promoted Junkie Sport up the second, but he's now run wide at turn 2, and through goes Donzo. And now he's got Steph all over the back of him after an off. Can Steph find a way through? Now up to 4th. Good run out the chicane through the S's. Not close enough this time. Mistake from Junkie Sport. Donzo accepts that gift very readily. Now recovering, he's back on the tail. Steph's had a good slingshot off the final corner. He's down the inside and he's got the move done. So Steph onto the podium. Great driving from him so far in this one. Calling it, nobody wants to be second in this one. Well, Donzo is he's holding on to it for the moment. And Tim Wentig, oh look at that run off the first corner from Tim Wentig. He's down the inside of Junkie Sport. Coming in a little hot, they're going to lean on each other a little bit. Tim Wentig's got the inside line. Junkie Sport trying to hang on, but gets the move done and recovers 4th position. Good move there from Tim Wentig up into 4th position. Battle between Panda and Fever continues to rage on as well. Fever, oh, big Porsche shakes his head through the puddles. Back in, British your daddy. Just catches the curb, has a bit of a wobble as well. Gets it all together. Hangs on to P8, he's back in P9, so he's caught and passed Spike. He's hanging on quite resolutely though. Good showing so far from Spike in these tricky conditions. And the other pink pig is battling with the other Spike the cat car. Bobby Norris leading Cats. He is just about back on terms. So we've got pink versus lime green at ×2. British Daddy on the attack of Fever. So Fever looks like he's had a moment somewhere. Again, he's lost touch with Panda. And now British Daddy is all over the back. Gather himself again, another one who's not running any traction. But that is an excellent launch through the S's. He looks down the inside of the buzzer corner, drops back in again. It just covers the line off. He got it stopped, he has. Sport still in 5th. Tim Wentig now on the back of Steph, trying to recover a podium position. Oh, Steph's gone straight on at turn 1 though. It hasn't stopped for him. Here we go, Tim Wentig. Comes back on. Junkie Sport's going to get down the inside of him as well. So just struggling to get that car stopped in these tricky conditions. And that puts Tim Wentig back onto the podium. So having nobody wanted to hold on to P2, now nobody wants to hold on to P3. Sport's giving it away, now Steph is giving it away. All this, and they're starting to close on these guys a little bit now. Not battling with Fever anymore. Meanwhile, your race lead is 14 seconds. On lap 14, he's pulling a second a lap on everybody. He's already close to lapping Nobby Norris and Nexus Cats. In these conditions, this is just an absolutely outstanding performance from SPY. Driving brilliantly in tricky conditions look at those lap times, all of them under a minute. He's driving supremely well. Donzo doing his best. He's in the 59s every lap as well, so fair play to Donzo. He is setting very consistent lap times. But when your teammate is just getting under 59 seconds every time, most of the time, you need a little bit more. Now just putting a little bit of time into Junkie Sport. These three then just spreading out, but still, again, any little mistake and it will be pounced upon. Continue the battle. Panda is also getting involved in this little train as well. British Daddy has come up trumps in that battle with Fever. He now holds P7. Som still leading Spike in their battle for 9th and 10th. And now Katz is ahead of Norby Norris in the battle for P11. And that is Steph taking 4th place from Junkie Sport, who's had a big wobble, and he's on the grass, and he's around, and Junkie Sport has dropped it at turn 3. Got a bid slide coming out of turn 2, and the Porsche just got away from a rear-engined car. Difficult to catch a slide, and he's all the way down to P8, so that podium opportunity is gone for this race, you feel now, unless the guys ahead of him start making some errors. That's so unlucky for Carl. He was having a very good drive up until that point. We've seen already a number of people have made mistakes, and I don't think that will be the last mistake we see, so get your head back down, get back on it. Can you recover in the rest of the race? Fever does a personal best, fastest lap. We've got to watch probably this one for second, which is starting to develop. Wentig has recovered. He's got his head down and he's setting about closing on Donzo. Lap times last time, Donzo did a 1 minute .9. Wentig did a 59.4. He took 1.5 seconds out of Donzo on that last lap, so that's just how much these conditions can do to your lap times. A very good recovery. We saw him spin on lap 9 at this corner. All back down to 5th position. That's quickly caught. Past Junkie Sport. He's past Prototype Steph. And now he's hunting down on that P2 again. The race lead you think is probably gone. The gap is 16.9 seconds. He's just making it look easy as he puts a lap on Norby Norris. Now the one to watch at the moment, Donzo and Tim Wenting. Only his second race in GT Sport for FTRL, and it is in very adverse conditions, and he is driving very, very well. What might he have done in that first race if he hadn't have jumped the start? Well, he knows for the final round, of course, what will be the reverse grid. He will have a lot of overtaking to do. That gap now is in slipstream range. So just caught in slipstream range. Of course, 3/4 of a second, 0.75 is the range for slipstream. So ekes that back out then on the brakes for turn 1. Then Timothy gets a good drive off the corner and just starts to bring that gap back down again a little bit. To match at this stage as we want being a race leader. Steph hanging on to P4. Solid drive from him. Panda is P5. British Daddy now P6 and closing on Panda as well. So having caught and dispatched a Fever, British Daddy is now getting very much in tune with these conditions. He's closing. And Panda for a top 5 potentially here. Drifting there out of the S's. Fever back in P7. Sideways, very sideways. Just about gathers it up. Gets it pointing straight and narrow again, and off he goes. But he went so well in the conditions here last season. That Mercedes is probably a little bit more stable in the wet. In a P7 Junkie Sport after that spin down to P9, and his former teammate somewhat closing in behind him. So now having dispatched Spike. He's still running around in P10 though. We've got recovering Nexus Cats, who's just had a lap put on him by SBY. Nobby Norris not too far behind him. These guys are not enjoying this condition. Nobby has a bit of a wobble there as he gets on the power at the final corner. Just trying to spit him off. He gathers it up nicely though. This man, however, is untroubled. 18 seconds in the lead. Donzo second. Tim Wentic now very much with him. That's the personal fastest lap. 59.3. Well, Tim Wentic with a 59.2 behind him, so a tenth of a second up again. Can he find a way through? Can he force a mistake? We've seen plenty of them so far tonight. In the background, another battle here now. Panda and Brazier Daddy. The battle is on for P5 as well. Yeah, he's got a slight penalty to get rid of, but only a tenth of a second. Shouldn't be too hard to get rid of. Can he snag himself a top 5 finish? His fifth race in GT Sport for FTRL, and his first in the wet conditions, I would imagine. The 7th, Junkie Sport 8th. He's on still 2.8 seconds behind him, so not quite on terms. Oh, Spike's gone off at turn 2, and so is his teammate. So both the Spike, the Cat cars are off. And they changed positions. Nexus Cats gets back ahead of him, didn't go off quite as badly. Spike there just going, it's very easy to go off there, the grip is minimal. We've seen a number of cars go off, and it claims the Spike the Cat cars, him and Cat's both running wide. Still probing for a way through is Tim Wentic. Oh, he's sideways on the curbs as he gets on the power. Closes in again. A little bit wide there. Gets a stop though, but slow through the apex, and that's brought the Dutchman right to his tail. Oh, he's sideways. Gets a tap in the back. Donzo there with a slide. Got a penalty there as well. I'm not sure if that was for track limits or for the contact. But either way, you've got to get rid of that before the end of the race. Although if it was for contact, that might yet be rescinded. Oh, and Wentic's off again at turn 2. We've just seen Spike go off, and now Tim's off again. And he drops on just in front of Steph, so he's just hung onto that podium. But that is how easy it is. Just slightly misses his braking point. The car doesn't stop. The corner drops away from you, and you are off on the outside on the wet grass. Steph trying to get up the inside there. He's defending hard. Battle is on. British Daddy has also now got ahead of Panda, so he's now up into the top 5. We'll go back and watch this battle now for the final podium step. All that hard work, applying the pressure, and instead it was Tim Wentic that cracked first. A little mistake, but in these conditions any little mistake is a big mistake in terms of time lost. He's hang on to 3rd place. Steph now though, the podium right in front of him. That's all the motivation he'll need. Can he force another mistake out of Tim Wentic? Driven brilliant. We've seen him come back from an earlier spin. Gap now to Donzo is 4 seconds, and with just 2.5 laps to go, I don't think he'll be able to close that without Donzo making a mistake. SBY onto the final lap, onto his penultimate lap, sorry. 20 seconds in the lead. There with a little drift. Spike just got back ahead of Nexus Cats in the battle for team supremacy. Norris is also onto the back of him as well. So despite that pressure, Tim Wentic has got his head back down again and just put a little bit of time into Steph. Onto the penultimate lap now. Just 2 more revolutions of this track. Differing lines there. Tim Wentic coming in with a very wide line. Tips in late. Steph attacked the apex early. Donzo has lost a lot of time to Tim Wentig here. That gap is down to 1.2 seconds. It was 3 seconds when they started the lap. Tim Wentig is sideways out of the S's. Full commitment. You can see that second place again, and he fancies a bit of it. Donzo's made a mistake somewhere. Can he force another one on the final lap? Race leader already up to turn 2. This one is pretty much in the bag. Katz gets out of the way. A second, third and fourth come through. Second and third step on the podium are not yet decided. Donzo still in second at the moment. Just needs a clean lap here. Don't think he'll have give up an opportunity, but Tim Wentig on a charge. Got that gap under a second now. Force a mistake through the final couple of corners. It's now 7/10. He is right back on Donzo. What a charge this is. The final couple of laps, half a second and closing. SBY wins the race. Wentig on the attack into the pull-up corner. He's right with Donzo again. Can he force a mistake? Can he open the door? Donzo just covers the inside. Can he get a run off the final corner? Down the inside, we've got a yellow flag behind. But Donzo holds firm and he'll come home in second. Tim Wentig right on the back of him in third. Steph comes home in fourth. British Daddy, very measured drive to P5. He pips Panda, who is sick. Fever is back in his beloved P7. Although I'm sure he would have hoped for a little bit more after the start. But it will give him a reasonably good position to start race 3. He comes home in 7th. Junkie Sport has held on for P8, but what could have been for him. And then Zom, Spike, Nobby Norris and Katz have already finished. And that is the result for round 14, and so is another double victory for SBY. Retains the conditions despite a potential challenge from Fever, a mistake on lap 1 but 3 and wide. He was then never headed thereafter. So that is race 2 of the evening done, so just one more to go. That is the reverse grid race. We'll be back in the dry conditions, which I'm sure the drivers will be very pleased about. So that we'll see Nexus Katz on pole position alongside Nobby Norris, then Spike and Zom. So can those boys have a good run this time? We saw Spike and Nobby have a great run at the early part of race 2. British Daddy of course got away in the lead, but those two were really in the battle for P2 until contact with Oven put them both off and down the order, so they'll be hoping for a clean race. Hopefully we'll see some good battles as the guys from the back try and make their way through. Will we get a surprise podium sitter in this one? So Tim Wentig there picking up his first podium as well. So yep, second race, adverse conditions and a podium to show for his first week's work. A very solid effort from him so far. What can he do in this third race, coming from the back of the grid this time? What's with it being the reverse grid? Sure, he very quickly would have been aware of the fact when he got out into the first corner and the car wouldn't stop. On the front row on P2, Nobby Norris. Panda behind him, he'll be on the second row. So what can those boys do in this one? Can they have a good run? What about the likes of Junkie Sport, who's starting in Fever, who's starting quite far forward after that last race didn't go all their way. Showing good pace earlier on. Are we going to see them? One of them possibly sneak a podium here. We've seen how difficult it is to pass, but people are making opportunities, mistakes being made here. It was one of the more straightforward and simple circuits on the calendar. Spin, can open us. So then who do we fancy? Just maybe sneaking a surprise podium in this one. I think that Steph would get a podium in this one. It's not so much of a surprise, because he has got podiums before. He's got a race win to his name as well. I think starting so far forward, I think him and Junkie Sport could be ones to watch. I think Zom could also have a good run here early on. Hopefully if he can keep it clean, I think one of those three could possibly sneak a podium here. So I'm going to put my money on somewhere between those three. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, I do apologise. If I have to nail my mast, colours to the mast, I want to get Zom. I want Zom to get a penalty, a podium. I don't want Zom to get Zom, please don't get a penalty, but do get a podium, please. So yeah, Zom for a podium in this one. Of course, he seems so close to having one at Sardegna earlier in the season, only to be robbed on the final lap by SBY. So hopefully SBY will just let him have it this time. Be nice, SBY. You've had enough. You've got more than your fair share. It's time to start showing them out. We do, so we are just waiting then for the get-go. Start after bogging down the first time, after jumping the start. There we go then. So the final race of the evening is about to begin. Is SBY's driver the most dominant in this build? Actually, it's not unsafe, no, because a couple of seasons ago, one of the manufacturers' rounds, SF Racing, aka Kyle, and myself at Tokyo East in the wet, I think he won by something like 26 seconds. So, not quite, not far off. Of course, our cars, we were in the GTR Group 4, not particularly a four-wheel drive car, we had a quite significant advantage over everybody. SBY's, though, being in the same car as everybody, you could probably say that was a more dominant victory in that sense. Here we go, and away we go. Danny's had a cracking start from towards the back there. On the run up to turn 1 though, Nobby Norris is going to get the lead. He's got the inside for turn 1. And he swings across. Junkie Sport had a good start. Oh, Nobby Norris has got touch there from Katz. They come through turn 1. British Daddy's already up to P5. He's had a storming start. Into turn 2 they go. Oh, bit of contact there. Tim Wenting's up to 6th as well. He's had a great start this time. Steph down to 9th behind Panda. And oh, Zom, what's gone on for Zom? Zom's dropped from third. He's now just in front of the Thursday night sweats. In 10th, going side by side with Donzo. Nobby Norris then is going to lead lap 1. Junkie Sport up to second. Third is Cats. Fourth is Tim Wentic. Tim Wentic's up to fourth already. He's had a storming first lap. And then it's everybody else. Coming into turn. Oh, Cats. Oh, Spike, sorry. Bumping and boring. Praise your daddy. SBY still in P12. A minute. So he's not found any way through yet. He's a little bit off the back of the minute as well, in fact. But long way to go. And if anybody can pick his way through, it will be that man. Spike now having a battle royal at the moment with the 213 cars. Got Steph down the inside. Through he goes. And that's going to open the door for Fever as well, I think. No, he gets back up again. Fever's up the inside into the final corner though. Donzo looking for a way through as well. Side by side, Donzo's going to make it 3 wide to 1. That's not advisable. Oh boys, hold on. This could get messy. Donzo is so tight to the corner. Sure, he's got to back out of this. No, he doesn't though. He gets through cleanly. Fair play. Fever gets up to P8. Donzo P9. Spike down to 10th. Then Zom and SBY still at the back. So 3 laps in, and he's not made a single position yet. Nobby Norris still leads. Junkie Sport right in his tail, and now Tim Wentic is up to 3rd. Brady Daddy is 4th. Cat's down to 5th. He's now fighting with Panda, who's down the inside of the penultimate corner. Gets the move done. He's up to P5. Nobby Norris still leads. A great run so far from him. This is what we wanted to see. Junkie Sport always wide though through 1. He's getting a big tag slapper. Contact with Junkie Sport, but Junkie Sport gets away with it. He takes the lead. Tim Wentic down the inside. He takes 2nd. So Nobby Norris dropping a couple of places there. That mistake. That's just what happens around here. One little mistake and it costs you big. And now we've got a new battle for the lead, and it's a renewed rivalry again. It's Junkie Sport versus Tim Wentic, part 3. These two have battled in every race so far. For a large part of race 1. A brief period in race 2. Now here we go again on end of lap 4. These two are renewing this blossoming rivalry. Nobby Norris still in 3rd, Brady Daddy's 4th, Panda 5th. And you've got Steph, Fever, Cats and Donzo, I think that is, all together. So looking up the inside of Cats into 1. Let's try to go late on the brakes. Can he go around the outside? Side by side still. SBY now up to P10, so he's made a couple of positions finally. Zom down at 11 at bottom. Not quite sure what happened to Zom or Spike. We saw Spike having a good battle and a little bit of a moment, but Zom missed what happened to him, but he started on the 2nd row. And he was down to P10 on lap 1, so not the dream start. Battle for the lead is on already. We're coming to the end of lap 5. That's a 1/5 race distance. Sport already going defensive. Tim Wentic chases him to the inside. Comes over to the outside for turn 1. No move to be made this time around. Gets a good run out of 1. Sport again going a little bit defensive. Forces the Dutchman to try and go around the long way. He's going to try it. The corner just doesn't come to him. Oh, Brady Daddy in the background there, very wide, just kept it on the track. Nobby Norris are hanging on to 3rd. Oh, Panda round the outside, and what a move that is. And having repays the favour for the last race, but Brady Daddy got him. Panda sweeps up into P4. With Fever, Steph and Donzo closing in, so we've got a big train going on. SBY is now up to P9. Nexus Cat's just dropping down the order a little bit now, he's down to P10. And they're covering Zom and Spike. Battle for the lead. Wentic looked up the inside into turn 1, but Junkie Sport just cut him off. Continue this battle right behind Nobby Norris, still in 3rd, still going very well at this stage. Hanging on nicely, coming up now to about 3rd race distance. Look at this pack behind him though. You've got Panda, Brady Daddy, Fever, Steph and Donzo. And now SBY's on the back of the train as well. Still 18 laps to go. SBY, double winner already today, is 7.2 seconds off the lead. Look at this train of cars. This is what we want to see. Still this battle for the lead, less than 2/10 between them. Oh, he's got to run this time. Has he got up the inside? He has. Oh, there's contact. That's a hip and a shoulder. And into the lead he goes. It was rough, it was robust, and he's giving it back. It's maybe a little bit too rough and robust. It's good driving there. We'd like to see that. Flash of the lights. And the battle is back on again. Can he find another way through? Robin Norris hanging on to third. Still doing well, keeping a gap back to Panda. He's driving very well at this stage. Keep battling, which they are side by side again. He's up the inside this time. Is Junkie Sport going to swing around the outside, or can Tilmantic force him there? No, he can't. Junkie Sport again gets on the power around the outside. He retakes P2, and all this is letting Nobby Norris close back in again. Our gap is now under 2 seconds, so he's coming back at them. He's bringing Panda, he's bringing Bread as your daddy, he's bringing Fever, he's bringing Steph. What's happened to the Thursday Night Sweats? What has happened to the Thursday Night Sweats? They're back in P10 and P11 after there's been contact with the teammates. Because they're back behind Zom, they're back behind Cats. They've lost 3 seconds on that lap. What has happened to our championship leaders? Fever now all over the back. Oh, Bread is your daddy. Check on the race leaders. No move this time. Fever though, in the slipstream. Pops to the inside, pops back in again. Not close enough this time. In the foreground, that was a change for the lead. He went to get this done this time into turn 2. And makes the move stick through the S's. He's into the race lead, so now it's Junkie Sport's turn to start trying to find an opening. Can he come back? These two have, well, they had an excellent battle in race 1. It went on for most of it. Junkie Sport managed to hold him off that time. This time, started a little bit earlier. He has found a way through. Now what can he do? Now he's got clear track. Junkie Sport looking to go with him. And he's come from the penultimate row of the grid. Oh, Junkie Sport's dropped it. On the curb. He's off to the inside. Nobby Norris will retake P2. Panda's going to come through to P3. That drops Junkie Sport down to P5. Oh, terrible look again for Junkie Sport. Drops a potential podium. He's recovered to 5th though, so it's not out of the equation that he can get back in touch with the guys ahead of him. But he's made it now very difficult for himself. So now the running order. Tilmantic now has a 3-second lead and clear track in front and no pressure behind, so he can get his head down. Nobby Norris is second, with Panda now rapidly closing on him, having broken away from that pack. We're at half race distance and Nobby Norris still in the podium fight. This is what we want to see. You guys battling for podiums. This is what the reverse grid throws up for us. Panda in 3rd, Fever now 4th. Junkie Sport recovering after that off is 5th, battling with Steph. Razor Daddy on the back in 7th, then behind them you've got Nexus Cat still in 8th, Zom still P9. Donzo and SPY have made no progress. So lap 8, 55 and 56 second laps. Those two had an off somewhere. Now was it together is the question. Is this inter-team rivalry picked up a notch off camera? Because they were on the back of that train. They were running 8th and 9th. And they now sit 10th and 11th. Here we go again. Donzo going a little defensive. SPY is going to look up the inside into turn 1. Gets it stopped this time. Donzo trying to go around the outside. We've seen Junkie Sport do it a couple of times. He's got the position for now, but SPY's got the inside for turn 2. Oh, there's more contact. And Donzo's off the track again. So more contact between the Thursday Night Sweats Is he slowing to let him back through? I think he is. He is, yep, some more contact. And that puts the Thursday night sweats all the way to the back. This race is not going to plan for those boys. The man who finished behind them in the last race is the race leader. Tim Wenting, 4.3 seconds ahead. Are we going to see our second debutant winner in as many weeks? Meanwhile, a change for P2. Panda up the inside. Demotes Nobby Norris to third. He's trying to come back at him through turn 3. But now he's also got Fever right on the back of him. He's had an excellent run there through the S's. But Nobby Norris driving very well. Hanging on to P3. Can Fever find a way through? He looks up the inside there. Now he's got a little bit deep through the final corner. For the moment, hangs on for that podium. Now on to lap 15 then, so 10 laps to go. They're at 3/5 the race distance. British Daddy is now P5. What has happened? Steph is now P6, Som is P7, Junkie Sports down to P8, and Katz is 9th, Spike 10th. And then the squabbling Thursday night sweats are back at the back of the grid. In contact on at least one occasion, possibly 2. It has not gone to plan this week in race 3 so far. Still 10 laps to go, and a lot can happen between now and then. So Fever has now made the move for P3, so Nobby Norris has lost that podium, but still in a very strong P4. That would be his best result. Can he hang on to Fever? Can he come back at him? Fever a little bit wide there, using that curve. We saw that curve, a big sausage curve there on the exit of turn 1. That is what accounted for Junkie Sport. Got on that, got on the power, and the car did not like it. Spat him off. British Daddy has seemingly been gifted P5. He was off the back of Steph and Junkie Sport. You see there, lap 14 at 53 seconds. That is a slow lap time from Steph, so he's lost some time. He's on after that awful start, awful opening lap. Recovered to P7. With the Junkie Sport behind him. So yeah, again lap 14, 54 seconds, so it looks as if those two had them off, him and Steph. So they were battling for P5. That's his 9th, Spike 10th. Donzo and SPY now starting to make their charge. See how difficult it is to overtake in identical cars. There's no advantage, as we've seen in previous seasons with the Manufacturers' Championship, where certain cars have certain strengths. It was very easy to make overtakes with Slipstream because certain cars are more powerful and certain cars are better through the corners, on the brakes. Here, everybody in the same car, and the quickest drivers on the grid are in 12th and 11th places. Donzo looks down the inside of Spike into the penultimate corner. Spike gives him the squeeze and hangs on to the position. So again, there you see it. It's not a guaranteed overtake here. Otherwise, I've got to run on his teammate. Again, Donzo goes defensive. He knows he needs to try and take some points back off SPY. And the third race is the best way to do it because he gets himself ahead. He starts ahead of him. We've seen him the last couple of weeks take a couple of points back on him. At the moment, having lost some in the first 2 races. Tim Wentig, 6.8 seconds. We saw this last week from British Daddy, who made good early on to pull away. And then the gap. Tim Wentig, however, continues to drive away. Panda is second, Fever is third. Those two are now battling for the final step of the podium. These two put on some great battles this season, close together in the championship as well. On for the final 2 steps on the podium. Which order will they finish? Nobby Norris still hanging on to P4. Great drive from him. British Daddy is trying to get on terms with him on lap 19 of 25. Winner last time out. Good for another top 5. Steph is now in somewhat lonely P6 at the moment. He's on P7. Sport 8th, next to Catch behind him in 9th. Thursday sweats have finally cleared Spike, and SBY's down the inside of his teammate into the penultimate corner. That was a clean move this time. Donzo's going to come straight back at him though, into the final corner. They're both going to run wide. Donzo's going to slide, have a big tank slapper. And that is position gain for SBY. Donzo threw it back, he knew he had to come straight back at him. So if SBY can get his head down and get away, you feel that Donzo might not have another opportunity to get back at his teammate. He knows he needs to take some points back off him. Right on the back of his teammate again, pushing him round turn 2. The battle here between Cats and Junkie Sport. Junkie Sport will be kicking himself that he's down this far. In the same way the Nexus Cats will probably be kicking himself after spinning off from 4th position in the second race. Storming start. P2 continues to rage, and still P2 flashing the lights as they come through the S's. Tim Wentig though on his own in the race lead. He's about to start lap 22. 4 more laps to complete. He could be well on his way to a first victory. Fever continuing to battle. Fever doesn't look to be close enough this time. He will just wait for another opportunity. Norris still in P4. Excellent drive from him. It's definitely his best drive. We saw him have a great drive at Maggiore a few weeks ago. He threatened a good result last time out as well in the reverse grid race. Bit of a twitch there. Car changing direction. Radio Daddy chipping away. Not on terms with him yet. Steph now also got the magnets on. Closing in on those two ahead of him. Can he snatch or can he get involved in his battle for P4 before the end? So on Junkie Sport, squabbling now. SBY up to P9, Donzo P10. They clear Nexus Cats. Now that SBY has put a second into his teammate, and SBY now on the back of Junkie Sport. He's had a great run through the final corner. Pops to the inside. Late on the brakes. Junkie Sport is he's definitely one of the last of the late breakers into turn 1. We saw him have some epic battles already with Tim Wenting hanging on around the outside of turn 1, and he does it there to SBY. So Junkie Sport not giving up that 8th position very easily. Benji now starting to work on the back of Norris. Benji got 2.1 seconds of penalties there, which he will need to get rid of at the end of the race, because he will, even if he overtakes Norris at this stage, probably will get him back on penalties. Battle still very much on for P2 as well. Benji Daddy's got the move done, but goes deep into turn 1, and Norris comes back at him. But this man is looking like he's going to follow Benji Daddy's lead and take a win in his first week in the reverse race. He starts his final lap. Panda and Fever still battling for P2. Fever not close enough, you feel this time, not into 1 anyway. Switch it down the order. We've got a bit of a gap now to Steph. Now SBY's had a good launch out the final corner again. Junkie Sport squeezing him to the pit wall. Zom coming over as well. Not quite sure why Zom's gone defensive. Oh, SBY up the inside of all of them. And now suddenly we've got 4 cars. SBY at the inside, Donzo to the outside. Suddenly Junkie Sport is the bread and some sandwich, which with a Warburton sponsored car is quite ironic. He's lost out to SBY, but your race winner on debut is Tim Wenting. He wins the reverse grid race. Panda comes out the final corner. He will finish second with Fever getting rid of a penalty, and in 4th place for his best result in FTRL GT Sport, Norris comes home P4. British Daddy gets jumped by Steph on penalties for P5. And this battle for 7th, Zom's going to come out on top of it, I think. He's got a penalty to get rid of. And he hasn't done it in time, so SBY jumps him. For 7th, Zom is 8th, Donzo 9th. Next is Katz, comes home P10. What happened to Junkie Sport at the end there? He comes home in 11th. I think he must have had a penalty. He did, he got 2 seconds, and Spike comes home in 12th, so no shortage of drama in the reverse grid, but it is a debut week victory for Tim Wenting. And what a brilliant drive that was, coming from 10th on the grid. Well, the 2 guys who started behind him ended up stuck in the pack. It is a brilliant victory for Tim Wenting in his first week. So 2 weeks in a row we've seen a debut winner in the reverse grid race. And if anything, that was probably slightly more impressive because Brendan Day started 4th last time, while Tim Wenting started 10th in that one. So that is a storming drive to come through the grid then. So that is the end of the action tonight. 2 wins for SBY, 1 win for Tim Wenting, but plenty of drama up and down the grid as once again GT2 delivers some exciting epic racing. Battles up and down the field. So that is the end of the coverage tonight. Of course, do join us tomorrow for GT1, the British Touring Car Championship, again from the Red Bull Ring. 3 races, 1 wet race in the middle of it, a reverse grid race as well. So plenty of action to look forward to tomorrow. And then on Sunday it is round 2 of the Super Series 700, this time from Spa-Francorchamps. So how will the boys get on this week? Of course, the video for that will be out in a week's time. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming. But thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you enjoyed the action, and we will see you tomorrow for GT1 action.